Yo, what is up, folks? It's your boy Sports PSP in the building. Hope everyone is enjoying a fantastic Sunday evening. Look, folks, I'm gonna do it very short and simple. I'm not gonna dive into some NBA stuff. I'm gonna just talk about something regarding a former NFL player and maybe some NFL stuff. I wish I could do the podcast a little longer, but as we all know, folks, tomorrow's going to be Monday. Unfortunately, the rest of us, while kids are getting ready to enjoy their summer vacation, the rest of us have to work for a living. We got to get up mad early in the morning just to go to work. So I just want to keep this pretty short and simple. I don't want to waste anyone's time. And folks, as you always know, your boy Sports PSP. Please go like and subscribe to the channel. Please go follow my YouTube, my TikTok, my Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, any social media platform I'm on. Please just go subscribe, like my content. If you want to comment, if you want to add more, always feel free, man. Just always feel free to come in and weigh your opinion. Folks, I gotta talk about Antonio Brown. Um, Anyone who's watched, I don't know, my old YouTube videos or anything, but I have been flat out critical of Antonio Brown. And I just think he is just nothing more than an absolute joke, a clown, an embarrassment. That's how I think of Antonio Brown, folks. I think as a football player, or when he used to play in the NFL, he was a phenomenal football player. I mean, I'm just looking at his resume. Super Bowl champion, 4-time first team All Pro, second team All Pro, 7-time Pro Bowler, led the NFL in receptions twice, led the NFL in touchdowns, I think back in 2018. NFL 2010's All Decade team, 928 receptions, 12,291 receiving yards, 83 touchdown receptions. You look at Antonio Brown's body of work, his production. He should be in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. I don't know if Antonio Brown will ever get into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Now, let me be clear. He should be. He should be in the Pro Football Hall of Fame, regardless of what anyone has to say about him as a person and as a human being. And I think as a human being, words cannot put it into context. But as it pertains to the football player, oh yeah, he's a Hall of Famer, in my opinion. And I was listening to Antonio Brown. He went on Tyreek Hill's podcast. It needed to be said. Tyreek Hill, the star wide receiver of the Miami Dolphins. And I'm reading a little bit from an article from Sports Illustrated's. I'm reading an article from Sports Illustrated real quick. See if I can find it. Yeah, I found out Sports Illustrated's Colin Hallaboom. These are some of the things that Antonio Brown said about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He blamed the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and Tom Brady that led to his exit against the New York Jets, in which he infamously, before the game was finished, removed his helmet and shoulder pads and hit the fans with the deuces. This is what he said when he went on Tyreek Hill's podcast. It needed to be said. We about to play the Jets, and this week I am really hurt. So I'm taking pictures to the coach like, quote, if we're going to win the Super Bowl, I'm going to need to take these last 2 weeks of the regular season, at least recover up so I can give you my best. We're here to win the Super Bowl. So the coach, Bruce Arians at the time, was like, hey, man, we ain't resting. Brown also blamed Tom Brady as well. This is Antonio Brown's quote. Tom called me like, yo, this is a big week. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm not reading the exact quote. Tom called me like, yo, this week, man, the Jets, man, they sweep, man. I'm going to hit you like 10 to 12 targets. So he going to gas me up. So you know me. That's all I need to hear. Like, yo, you going to throw me the ball. Tom Brady hit me up like, yo, this is a big week. I know my shit fucked up, but if you're going to gas me like that, why not? So I dressed up, suited up, and once I got to New York, I already felt the bad energy. And he also claimed that the Buccaneers treated him like he was a dog. And when I listened to Antonio Brown speak about the exit and about everything that's been in his life that he has put himself in, it's everybody else's fault, but not his. Antonio Brown is a jackass. I take no pleasure into saying that, but when it comes to people like him, he is nothing more than an absolute effing jackass. Because yet again, he continuously puts himself in these situations. Everybody else's fault, but never his. AB is a clown. And the problem that I have is not just AB, it's people, his fans, supporters, people around him that constantly defend his bullshit. Yeah, I'm a cuss. I'm going to keep on cussing. My podcast, I can say whatever I want. Antonio Brown is just a joke, folks. I mean, from Pittsburgh, Oakland, before they moved to the Raiders, New England, Tampa, I mean, Pittsburgh, all these situations that he had with the team, he gets traded. He goes to Oakland, the helmet grievances, the thing that he called Mike Mayock the racial slur. And how much money did he get in Oakland? $30 million. $30 million. And he fucked that up. Antonio Brown just can't find a way to not stop putting himself in these fucking predicaments. Or with the situation when the chamber, you know, when he got his feet frostbite or whatever the case may be, he put himself in that situation. Then he goes to New England. He get after being released by the Raiders, he goes to New England. Then he was dealing with accusations of sexual assault or rape by the former female trainer Brittany Taylor, and then other accusations against the artist. And then he goes on social media, he attacks the accuser, and then ultimately he gets cut by the Patriots. And then a year later, he gets signed to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers because of Tom Brady. Tom Brady, if it were not for Tom Brady's greatness, if it were not for his value, there is no way in hell Antonio Brown would not have been on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers roster. No way in hell. Bruce Arians made it clear he didn't want Antonio Brown because he knew exactly what AB was going back to his days in Pittsburgh. But Tom Brady decided, I want him on my team. Shit, man, even allowed AB to come live with him. And the first year, they did win the Super Bowl. AB, we didn't really hear much off the field issues with Antonio Brown. I think the first year with Tom Brady, at least they were able to get to the Super Bowl and win. Then the following year, AB, the vaccination, Bruce Arians, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they claimed that the staff, the players are 100% vaccinated, but AB, that wasn't the case. We found out he used the fake vaccination card and he was suspended for 3 games. Something about the chef. AB was supposed to owe the chef at the time a certain amount of money, and for whatever reason, AB refused to fulfill that end of the bargain, and the chef decided to retaliate by exposing AB. But despite all of that, AB still stayed on the team because of Tom Brady. And then, of course, anyone cannot forget the situation with the Jets. Even if Antonio Brown injury, in which, by the way, folks, a legitimate ankle injury that needed surgery, even if the injury was true, let's take what the doctors, Antonio Brown and his representation said about his injury. Let's say everything that AB was true. Let's just take AB at his word. Justify the exit of him removing his helmet and shoulder pads in that game against the Jets. There is none. Okay, I think the reason why he decided to act that way is because he didn't get what he want as far as with the incentives. And let's just take Antonio Brown, what he said on Tyreek Hill's podcast. Even though I find it hard to believe, because given his track record in history, he has no credibility. None whatsoever. I mean, you just can't trust Antonio Brown. You just can't take his word to heart. I mean, I can't believe him. You just can't believe him. You just can't trust him. But let's say, hypothetically, we took him at his word. Explain what you did, AB, by removing your helmet, your shoulder pads, and hitting the fans up with the deuces. If you had a legitimate injury, and I'm not questioning the injury, why couldn't you just walk out of the stadium, have a doctor or a trainer evaluate your injury, and then Bruce Arians or anyone on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers head coaching staff would have taken the doctor or the trainer at their word? But you decided to act like a 5-year-old kid, and you fucked it up. Because for whatever reason, when things don't go according to you, when things don't go the way you want, you act like a petulant ass child. And that's who you are, AB. And people will bring up all the other things that's happened with AB. Some people will say he hasn't been the same since the Vontaze Burfict hit in the playoff game against the Bengals. And a lot of people have speculated that he may have CTE. I don't know. I'm not a doctor. I can't confirm that. The only way you can discover or find out someone has CTE is if they're dead or deceased. Even if Antonio Brown is dealing with something mentally or psychologically, and hope he gets help. But at the same time, he can two things could be true. You could be dealing with mental problems, but you can be an absolute and utter jackass. And that's who Antonio Brown is. And then the situation in Dubai, in which he exposed himself in front of the female, in which his boys, his friends are saying, yeah, AB. And people may feel like it's not that big of a deal because the woman was laughing and smiling. But you're in a foreign country and you're doing this type of shit. And even if people are going to look at her and say, well, she's laughing and smiling, that doesn't necessarily mean she liked it. Perhaps she was totally uncomfortable with what she had to experience because of AB. And then the situation with Tom Brady. I mean, after everything that man did for you, considering the fact that you were traded to a team, you've been on 3 teams. One of them who traded you, that was the Steelers, and 2 of them who cut you, the Oakland Raiders at the time and the New England Patriots. This dude put his arm around you. The man allowed you to live with him at his house. And then you post a picture, AB, of you and Giselle, with Giselle, now his wife, now ex-wife, with her arms wrapped around you. AB's a fucking joke. And of course, we all know the situation with the Albany Empire team. I mean, he just can't. It's like it can't get any worse for this dude. It's like he can't get any lower. I mean, it's like he can't stop. He has nobody to blame but himself. I mean, of course, number one is him. Number one is purely on Antonio Brown. He has nobody to blame but himself. He's responsible for him first and foremost, because I'm tired of people making excuses and giving passes to him all because he's a former NFL player, because you like him, because he's a celebrity entertainer. That I mean, enough, man. And the people, and I blame the people around him as well, because you coddle and you cape up to his bullshit, and you refuse to tell him no. You refuse to tell him what he needs to hear. And the only reason why you do that is because he has the money. Unlike him, you're not in his position. You don't have money. He's the one who's paying the bills. He's the one who's doing everything for you. So I understand you're afraid to tell him no, because if you tell him no, chances are he's going to cut ties with you. But at the same time, if you're a friend, if you're a dude, and if you see someone acting foolish or irrational or whatever, then it's incumbent upon you to tell that person, hey, man, nah, that ain't the way to do it. There's a different way to handle the situation. And I feel like with Antonio Brown, man, I mean, it's on him. It's the people around him. But at the same time, it's also the people who give him opportunities. Knowing his history, knowing and considering what he's done throughout his career, why do you constantly give him opportunities? Why? Why do you constantly give him opportunities, knowing this man gets in the news for yet again all the wrong reasons? And it just got worse. I mean, the Albany Empire, the players, the coaches, now they're even planning to file a class action lawsuit against AB after they said that AB allegedly pulled paychecks back out of their bank accounts. This is from the Albany Times Union. The head coach, Mo Leggett, I'm reading here from an article of Yahoo Sports, Ryan Young. It said Mo Leggett said he and players were paid for days after their final game against the Orlando Predators as expected, but then less than a week later, they realized the paychecks had been reversed and taken back from their respective bank accounts. It's unclear how many Empire staff and players allegedly had their paychecks reversed or what the amounts were. Leggett said he tried repeatedly to reach Brown, his accountant, and the team president, but has not received any answers. And this is what Leggett told the Times Union. I'm frustrated. I tried to give him the benefit of the doubt. I tried to work with him. I was trying to be the peacemaker and the mediator to make sure things ran smoothly and just under the radar. But I can no longer do that. This is what Empire wide receiver Fabian Guerra, this is what he also told the Times Union. I felt like this was his plan all along. I felt like he does stuff for social media and to sell his songs. I think it's just what he does. That's the type of guy he is. No one trusts him anymore. I see it hard for him to get any future deals going because of how he is as a person. Well, I mean, I feel sorry for the coach and the player if this is true, but the people who give him these opportunities, what does that say about y'all? Like, how desperate can you be to give this dude, of all people, an opportunity to be owner of a football team or a franchise? He's a joke. AB is nothing more than a joke, man. The other problem I have with this with AB, not only he refuses to take accountability, it's everybody else's fault except him, because he refuses to take any accountability. And people, whether if it's his fans or supporters or people around him, will constantly make excuses for him. This is really going to hurt AB's chances as far as getting to the Pro Football Hall of Fame. I believe, and I'll say it again, folks, no matter how I feel about the Antonio Brown or anybody as far as what horrible things they've done, I compartmentalize. I respect someone for their art or their production, but I can criticize and be disgusted with them as far as human beings. You find it hard to believe in what I said? Go check out my YouTube channel, Sports PSP. I did a video talking about, can we compartmentalize? Can we respect the art and not the person? And the perfect example I brought was R. Kelly. No matter how you feel about R. Kelly as a human being, as a person, and as a person, I think he is absolutely a disgrace, a piece of shit, scum of the earth. But as a singer, as a songwriter, as a musician, as an entertainer, no matter what anybody has to say about him, he is phenomenal to listen to. I take nothing away from him and what he's accomplished as a singer, as a songwriter, as an artist. I think R. Kelly, based as a singer, songwriter, musician, is truly one of a kind. But as a person, as a human being, I'll say it again, piece of shit. And with Antonio Brown, given his off the field issues and on the field issues, and how the fact that he still keeps getting worse and worse and worse, I'll say it again. There is no chance in hell he's going to the Pro Football Hall of Fame. No chance he's going to the Pro Football Hall of Fame. He should. He should be in the Pro Football Hall of Fame only because of his merit, his production. I believe it should be based on a meritocracy where you're judged based on what you've accomplished compared to your contemporaries. But the Pro Football Hall of Fame, they will factor on and off the field issues. And with Antonio Brown, his on and off the field issues are huge. It's like a laundry bag filled with issues. I mean, a laundry list of off the field issues with AB. And it took Terrell Owens, and I got to bring up T.O. And I don't want to hear anybody comparing Terrell Owens to Antonio Brown. Terrell Owens had some issues. I mean, was he perfect? No. There were some things I didn't necessarily agree with. Okay, I didn't like what he did to Greg Knapp on the sideline. I think it was a game against the Minnesota Vikings where he's yelling and screaming at him because they lost that game. I think it was against the Minnesota Vikings, and why everyone wanted to see that because the matchup between Terrell Owens and Randy Moss. Who was the better wide receiver in that game? Let me read the comment here from Ayo. Literally got them kicked out of the football league. Bush League material. Yeah, I agree. He literally, AB literally got them out of the football league. It's on Antonio Brown at the end of the day, but at the same time, that's also on the people who gave him the fucking opportunity. I don't understand. It makes no effing sense on why you would give someone like him an opportunity, because you know for a fact if you give him an opportunity, he's just going to find some excuse to fuck it up. That's who Antonio Brown is. But back to Terrell Owens. Terrell Owens had some on the field issues. Terrell Owens had some problems, but nowhere near Antonio Brown. He had no off the field issues, no domestic violence, no sexual assault, no rape, no anything. T.O. off the football field was a model citizen. He was clean off the field. On the field, people said he was temperamental, diva, a lot of other things, bad teammate. That was the narrative people had said about Terrell Owens. But nothing compared to Antonio Brown. And it took Terrell Owens 3 times to get into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. 3. Imagine what it's going to be for Antonio Brown. It took Chris Carter 6 times just to get into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. 6. What's it going to be for AB? Based on his production, I'll say it again. I'll read you the production again, folks. AB is a 4-time first-team All-Pro, 7-time Pro Bowler, Super Bowl champion. He's in the NFL 2010s All-Decades team. He's led the league in receptions twice. He led the NFL in touchdowns. I mean, during the prime of his career, the only wide receivers you could argue above him were in his prime were Julio Jones, in my opinion, and Megatron, Calvin Johnson. I feel like there was no other wide receiver other than those two. Some people could argue Odell Beckham Jr. or Dez Bryant before 2015. I feel like there was no other wide receiver that was on AB's level other than Julio Jones and Calvin Johnson. And AB, boy, man, he ruined his career. He really ruined and sabotaged a great career. And AB, had it not been for injuries and had it not been for his serious ass problems and his personality, he would still be on an NFL roster. It's on him. It's on him, and it's the people around him. They're at fault. I just feel like, man, I'm so sick of it. And people will say, Sports PSP, who are you to talk about Antonio Brown? You're not in Antonio Brown's shoes. You're a nobody. Antonio Brown's been there and done that. The reason why I feel that way about Antonio Brown is because I hate to see where he is. AB should be so much higher. He should be so much better than this because he ruined a Hall of Fame career. He did this. He ruined a Hall of Fame career. And he also ruined an opportunity for himself to make a hell of a lot of money. And having great success, having an opportunity to get huge generational wealth to not only provide for himself, his family, but for other business things. Now that his football career is over, and I just don't see Antonio Brown ever having any success. I mean, he tried as a rapper, and then the viral song that went viral on TikTok put that shit on. Like, bro, man, you that should have never happened to you, AB. As a rapper, I mean, let's just be honest, you trash as hell. I mean, you never even planned on becoming a rapper or a musician once your career was over. You never dreamed about being that until your career was over. AB had it not been for AB fucking up his own career, AB should have been a Hall of Famer. And I'm afraid he will not go into the Pro Football Hall of Fame because of all the off the field and on the field issues. And it's still again and again and again recidivism behavior. But I still believe he should be in because regardless how I feel about the person and the human being, I still feel like Antonio Brown should be in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. There are plenty of other players that have been involved with horrible incidents. His former teammate, Ben Roethlisberger. We all know Ben Roethlisberger's history, but I still believe Ben should be in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. No matter how I feel about the person or the individual, I still don't take away what they accomplish as a football player or their profession or whatever it is that they do in their life. And I'm afraid that Antonio Brown will never be in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. I feel like Antonio Brown, he did this to himself. But at the same time, I also blame the people around him as well, because the people around him, instead of telling him what he needs to hear, you told him what he wants to hear, because had you told him no, he would have cut ties and he would no longer be providing or supporting you. That's how I feel. But I want to add my man Leaf Diggy in the building. I know he's waiting. What's up, Leaf?
Yo, you get me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Man.
Yeah, my bad. Damn, I had just got jotted in maybe like a second ago, man. What I miss?
No, I'm just talking about Antonio Brown. He went on some podcast, the Tyreek Hill podcast, and he talked about he blamed the Buccaneers and Tom Brady for his exit. You know, the game against the Jets in which he removed his helmet and shoulder pads and gave the fans the deuces at MetLife.
Yeah. I remember that game. I was actually watching that game live. When it all happened. Because I was watching it at my pops. My pops is a Jets fan. He's been a Jets fan all his life, so I
Yeah.
was watching that game live anyway. What I had heard, what had happened, that he needed, maybe I think maybe like another catch for a bonus or something like that. It
Yeah,
had something to
something
do with
regarding
money.
incentives.
Yeah. It was like an incentive, something of that nature. And Bruce Arians, I guess, had pulled him, whatever the case may be, and then that started that whole thing on the sideline. Richard Sherman had the best way of describing it, because like he was when they was going through the game, and everything was going good, everything everything was going good, everything was going well. AB was like in the huddles and all that, things of that nature during that, just describing the game.
Mm-hmm.
And he basically had said, when he came off the field, AB had got AB and Bruce Arians was like going back and forth, and he was like, "Hey, yo, everything was cool like for most of the game, and then all of a sudden they just start going off at each other. Next thing he know, he get back on the field, he come back off, they stop a play, then AB is going wild and everything. I mean, listen, I think AB is an exceptional talent. I think as far as wideouts, I think he's carved out a hell of a career going back to
Yeah.
Pittsburgh.
Right.
And I think this new character thing that they're judging players on, it kind of goes back to To. Kind of goes back to the To thing for me, because I
Right.
remember Skip Bayless of all people had vote for the Hall of Fame. Couple of people at ESPN, people in the media had votes for Hall of Fame, and I kind of persuaded um against. I think he helped kind of persuade against
Yeah, I do
To.
think he helped convince people not to vote To because, sorry to cut you off, Lee, because he said, if I have to think twice about you, you're not in my Hall of Fame. He's been on the record calling To team obliterator. Neo, he said he publicly defended him until 6 or 7 of his teammates said, how can you support this dude? He's tearing us apart. He's like a cancer. And I feel like Skip Bayless, because of who he is and his platform, and because of the voters, they're the media, they take what he says into consideration. And because of that, that's what ostracize T.O. out of the Hall of Fame.
Absolutely. Absolutely. 100%. And I think the same probably, thank God it didn't happen to Randy Moss.
No, it didn't. And you know why with Randy Moss? Because he was with the media and with ESPN.
Right. He actually had got a job with the media, but I remember how he was when he was a player and like post games. One of the things Randy was I do it when I feel like it kind of guy as a player, because
Right.
with the
said
talent that he had, we talking about, like, come on now, like when we say we talking about a guy who's literally carved out his name is literally a verb in the term of football. Like that, like literally, like come on, man. Like when when we say you get mossed, like literally, we know what that means. You know what I'm saying? So I think him getting back to the AB situation, I think AB, you know, in these days, man, with the media getting so much quote unquote power or quote unquote pull, you can't rub them the wrong way. You know, if you like if you basically, you know, for lack of a better term, give them your backside to kiss, man. Like they gonna make you pay. They did it to Barry Bonds. They continuously. I mean, they did it to Roger Clemens. Even though those guys was in steroid allegate the steroid mix in baseball and all that. Just to name those guys, but Barry Bonds,
right.
Had it not been for steroids, I don't think he would have got it anyway, because he rubbed the media the wrong way. Like he rubbed the media the wrong way. Like I was looking at the whole documentary on it, bro. Like he literally gave the media like
he really pissed the media. He really did piss the media off.
Oh yeah.
But at the same,
and we talking about a player who, if you're familiar with Barry Bonds, he had won 3 MVPs before any steroid allegation even came up. Like 3 or 4 MVPs, like in the majors. You know how I don't know.
That's unprecedented.
Yeah, that's unprecedented for any sport. Like, you know what I'm saying. So, the deal with AB, I mean, it's gonna be hard. It's gonna be hard, man. Like, and I know you brought up Ben Roethlisberger.
Yeah, I brought up his off the field issues, but the difference between Ben and AB is Ben, since those off the field issues, we haven't heard anything.
Right. He didn't piss off the media. You know what I'm saying? So like my thing is like, yo, I think you could do just about anything as an athlete, except for get under the media's skin. If you get under their skin, they're gonna make you pay.
Yeah,
because at the end of the day, they're getting more pull in the ESPNs and the Fox Sports and all of these companies are getting more pull to get players and more money and more payments and more responsible for the Jalen Hurts big contracts and the Lamar Jackson big contracts, to name a few guys. And they feel like, yo, they just, you want to give us your back to kiss? Okay, we're gonna do this. You know what I'm saying? So they basically this is the media basically showing their range, man. Like that's, I mean, we all know what time it is.
No, I feel you, Leaf, and you make a great point with the media. At the end of the day, the media, they're human beings like everybody else, but still, I put all of that aside and I judge people based on their merit and to production. AB should be in. Like, I'll read absolutely. He should be in. I'll read you his resume. Four-time first team All-Pro, 7-time Pro Bowler, 2-time receptions leader. He led the NFL in receiving touchdowns. The wide receivers that you can argue for AB at his prime were Julio Jones, Megatron, and maybe some other wide receivers that I forgot to mention off the top of my head. But AB was in that ballpark.
Absolutely.
But AB fucked it up. And my problem with AB, man, he takes no accountability for his problems. I understand that's also on the people around him as well, because I feel like it's hard to tell someone who has money and who does the providing no, because if you tell them no, chances are they're going to cut ties with you and they're going to move on. But I feel like if you're a friend, if you someone that you actually care about, you should step in and say, nah, man, that ain't the way to do it.
I think you know what, and I think you make a very valid point with that statement, because I think, you know, in the day and age, with the money involved and the internet and everything, with the way that's everything that's going on, like players get like 200 mil for 5 years, 5 year, 6 year deal. I mean, there's nobody around them that's even getting close to that. The most they probably getting on their own is maybe what the 500 a week with regular job, and they getting 200 mil within the next 5 years, and you thinking to yourself like, man, I can't tell him nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like, what can I tell him? He did more in a couple of years, man, than I did in my lifetime. And you thinking to yourself like, yeah, but as a friend, absolutely. I mean, I think one of the funniest things I've seen, man. I don't know if you've seen the Juju video when he went back home. His mom made him clean the yard. Like when he got back home, she's like, "You ain't no star up in this house." So yeah, so and I think for a lot of players, man, they kind of need that, that humble, that way of just staying humble and staying level grounded. But AB basically, he basically went nuclear and basically went autopilot, man. Like, that's how it was, man. But AB as a talent, absolutely, he's definitely for sure top 10. The wideouts, who you mentioned Julio, you mentioned Megatron, Tyreek Hill probably belong in that list.
Yeah.
If I can't really think about any other wideouts at the moment, but definitely
Yeah,
AB
those are
was
the
all
wide receivers that come off the top of my head when I think of
absolutely,
someone. But
absolutely,
when I look at AB, man, what should have been? I mean, he had a Hall of Fame career and he fucked it up. And the bigger problem I have with AB is, who did he hurt the most? The person who the person who fed you. Tom Brady allowed him to come live with him,
mm-hmm,
brought him to his home, was able to help you get another opportunity back into the NFL.
right,
And you post a picture of his ex-wife with her wrapping her arms around you. And I feel like, how much lower can you get, bro?
man.
That's the dude's wife, ex-wife, but again, that's the mother of his children.
That's yeah, that's crazy. That's something, man. I like at this point, this junction time, man. I don't even want to just dive into, man. I mean, it's all the expletives, snake, low down, like yeah, everything that you could get. That's about as low as you can go. Like for somebody that went to bat for you, and you turn around and do that. And listen, look, I had somebody tell me, man, like Antonio Brown, I think that something might be wrong with him mentally, man. Like, see, he might,
Yeah, a lot of people
he
have
might,
brought up
he might, yeah,
the game against the Bengals in which he suffered that hit against Vontez Burfict. People have speculated that he may have CTE. Again, I'm not a doctor. I can't confirm that because you can't determine someone has CTE unless they pass away. But even if you're dealing with mental problems or psychological problems, I believe two things could be true. You're dealing with problems, but at the same time, you could be a terrible human being. Aaron Hernandez had CTE, but he killed Odin Lloyd.
right.
So, I mean, I believe OJ Simpson is a double murderer. He may be dealing with mental health
I
issues,
believe
whatever.
that as well.
Yeah.
And Chilltown had said, listen, we could keep a lot of the personal stuff aside, with the players that we know that have done personal stuff, the Karl Malones, the OJ Simpsons, to name a few. Um, OJ, you'll never hear nobody say OJ Simpson, the only person to get 2,000 yards in 14 games.
First running back to do that.
First and only running back to do that. Like and I mean, I listen, man. It's kind of crazy for me to talk outside because I'm so used to saying f this player, f that player, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, just because of them doing stuff on like outside of like the affect the game of like a sport or whatever. But like in terms of football, man, like it seems a lot of the guys, they they had a lot of stuff going on outside, like a lot of demons to fight, and man, I just hope he get right, man. I mean, I hope something shake for him, man. Like he could move past all of these things that has happened so far in his life, and I mean, but you got to stop doing clown stuff. You know what I'm saying? You can't. You got to stop doing clown shit. You got to stop.
I think
You got to stop downing
I
people,
really
man.
think he needs to see. He needs help. Bottom
Yes,
line, he needs help. I mean,
yes.
again, I understand mental. I mean, I deal with mental health issues. I'm quite sure you deal with mental health issues too. Leave, all of us do. I mean, if he has problems, he should definitely go see, get some counseling, therapy, treatment, medication, or whatever. Nothing wrong to admit those things, but do re-
You know what's not to stop you. You know what's crazy about people that like in the Gen X, like of the Gen X era, of the like millennial slash Gen X era, like we we don't want to, like, especially men, like men my age, anybody over 30, like, yo, we don't want to deal with like the health side of things, like whether it's mental, whether it's like physical, like, cause we already know the setbacks. You know what I'm saying? Especially if like we playing sports, or like we gotta run. Like we feel like, yo, we could burn through it. You know what I'm saying? Because our elders, the men that are elders in our families have ran through it. You know what I'm saying? They never mentioned, they never mentioned it. 9 times out of 10, they ain't had nobody to talk to about it. You know what I'm saying? So the
Mhm.
thing is, now that mental health is like a big awareness thing nowadays, as opposed to for was from like the early 2000s and previous decades before. You know what I'm saying? Like it's still harder for men, like of the age, like up in age and everything, like or plus 20 plus 30s, to even speak on it. But at the same time, you could play that card. You know what I'm saying? Like like the Ben Simmonses of the world, those type of characters. You could play that card when stuff is not necessarily going your way. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't know if I don't, not to really get too much into it, but I
Mhm.
mean it's such a touchy subject, man. Like just to begin with, you know what I'm saying? But I do hope that AB just get something done, man. He gets some type of help, man, and get his life back on the right track, man. But as far as his case for the Hall of Fame, if we leaving it up to the media, man, we talking about a real thin line, man. Like
I said there's no chance in hell.
I, I might be I might be like an inch away from like really 100% agreeing with you, man. But I like if
He should be in. Let's be clear. He should
yes,
be
he
in the
should
Pro
be in,
Football.
but the media that we know as of right now, I don't know.
Yeah, we agree there because at the end of the day, the media they get to determine that, and I feel like we can have a discussion for another day. Should the players should be involved when it comes to the vote because the players they know the sport. Let's not act like the players don't know football. Let's not act like the players don't shouldn't have a say because they should because they know greatness when they see one. And no one say whatever you want about AB. No one can argue he was a phenomenal football player. He was. Um,
Absolutely.
but
Absolutely. Very,
but
very listen, top 10 wideout all time by far. Carved together a great career. But to the masses, and the ultimate judgment call, man, that like he was a head case.
he
That's
was.
what they're gonna remember him by. And it's a shame that, him compared to Terrell Owens
No, there's no
is
comparison
yeah,
because
yeah, like yeah, come on now, like this is like you
T.O. is
read.
like T.O.'s a saint compared to AB.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
And look,
Like it.
yeah, go ahead, man.
Yeah, absolutely. And I could think of other wide receivers that were great, and had the talent that probably are not there. And think of that, but it's been so many great players at that position. To think that To, Chad Johnson, and AB have been like the ultimate quote unquote problematic guys at that position to me, and then for the careers that they were able to muster up, it's just like, yo, can we keep it football, man? Can we do that, man? Like, all right, the off the field stuff
we know about it, but listen, are we going to acknowledge it and be like, all right, yo, we
And we
obviously don't
should.
want.
And we should. We should leave. But the problem is with the media and a lot of people, they're human at the end of the day. And
Right.
if you feel like you can't compartmentalize, then maybe you shouldn't be voting. And look, we all know you're a Green Bay Packers fan. I did not like the fact that Aaron Rodgers lied about his vaccination status. If you didn't want to get the vaccine, that's your choice, but don't lie. And there were people, and there was the Chicago writer who said that he wouldn't vote for Aaron Rodgers, called him the biggest jerk in the world. What does that have anything to do as far as his play on the field?
You know what that is. As soon as you said Chicago writer,
Right.
you know what that is.
We all know the Bears Packers rivalry in which
Exactly.
Aaron
You know what I'm
Rodgers has
saying?
admitted, I still own you.
Yeah. So the thing is like these when we talk about the media, there's feelings involved. Whether they're never gonna admit it, but we know there's feelings involved. But you can't tell people how to feel. You can't tell people how to react. They gonna react how they want to react. You know what I'm saying? It's the same thing with the baseball voters of the Hall of Fame. The people that vote for Hall of Fame in baseball, they are some very, very sensitive people. If you do I'm telling you, man, like, listen, that list is very prestigious to the point where the steroid era, quote unquote, has really like marked a really black eye like towards the sport, to the point where they're voting maybe like for one or two guys to get in the Hall of Fame once every 3-4 years. You looking at guys that were great, but because they cheated. The one thing I can say about the Baseball Hall of Fame, they're very consistent. Yo, if you cheated, if you did some scandalous stuff, nah.
Yeah, they won't let you in.
Then they ain't letting you in.
They won't let you in.
But I asked this question. Alex Rodriguez admitted that he cheated and didn't win a championship. Is he gonna get in?
If they're being consistent as you say they are, then he's not going to get in. Okay. Barry Bonds has won 7 MVPs. Jesus he should Christ. Be in. He should be in, even if he cheated.
That's Kareem with LeBron's like, are we serious? Yeah, I love, man. We could go on all day, right, man, about this, but I actually you already know, I got the Jason Tatum people after me.
Listen, we ain't talking about any more NBA today. I've talked about the draft. I talked about Jason Tatum. We can save that for another day. Listen, you just gotta stand by what you said with Jason Tatum. If that's how you feel about it, that's how you feel about it. You can't be concerned about the ones who don't give a who. Bottom line, at the end of the day, you can't be concerned about those who feel the way that you feel about your opinion. I don't give a fuck. If people don't like my opinion, that's on them. I can't. I'm gonna give you exactly how I feel. Period.
And you know what's crazy? And I do that, and then next thing I know, I got the like. I feel like it's like an entire like if my pod or my channel, whatever, gets any larger, I feel like there's gonna be like a corral, because like fuck LeBron just comes off the tongue for me. You know what I'm saying? Like fuck Kevin Durant comes off the tongue for me. But in the long scheme of things, listen, let's stay on football. I want to talk about the what was he talking about the other day? You said we was talking about Trevor Lawrence. Buddy had the Trevor Lawrence thing.
Yeah, I'll inform the audience. My friend Bryson Carver, Carving It Up podcast. Go check him out on the Grid Network. He went on my podcast, Commanders Demand, and go also check out that channel, like and subscribe. I'll definitely come up with some topics as far as what to discuss on Wednesday. Stay tuned on that. He claimed that Trevor Lawrence is a top 3 quarterback in the NFL. And when I heard him say that, I'm like, top 3? Like, I love Trevor. I think Trevor can be great, but I don't know about top 3. I mean, there's Mahomes in a class by himself. There's Burrow. There's Allen. I like Jalen Hurts. Even though I think Justin Herbert, I think a lot of people overhype him, but still, I can't ignore his talent. I think he's top 5. I put Aaron Rodgers at 6. I put Lamar 7th. I would put Trevor 8th. And I said before, and I'll say it again, I believe Geno's top 10. Geno Smith is a top 10 quarterback. Even though people say, well, that's only been 1 year, I would take Geno Smith at this point compared to Russell Wilson. People will think Russell Wilson will have the better season because they've improved the whole line. They got Sean Payton. He can't get any worse than what he was last season. And if he replicates another year like he had last season, then it's it for Russell Wilson.
Yeah, that's it.
And then 10th, I put Tua. Even though you could argue, some people may argue Dak Prescott, some people may argue Kyler Murray. I just think Tua, the only concern I have with him is durability. That's the only concern.
I do agree with you with that, but I would say barring, I want to say, I say barring injury and barring coming into next season. Obviously, my list is somewhat the same. Mahomes obviously class by himself. Burrow, number 2. I feel like, and this is where my list kind of gets tricky. I feel like Josh Allen, he might be on the clock in terms of, okay, yo, can he get Buffalo? Can he get Buffalo out of the AFC? And obviously it's going to be one of those Mission Impossible type of things with the way that Kansas City has been running the gauntlet for the last 5 years. Literally, the road to the AFC runs through them, and a lot of great quarterbacks are in the AFC. Like as we talked about, we talking about. I just named Mahomes, AFC, Burrow, AFC, Josh Allen, AFC, Herbert, AFC, who at 5. Did I say Hurts? Oh, no, I didn't say Hurts. Hurts, I'm gonna put him at top 5 as well.
Okay.
Hurts is NFC. Excuse me. I'm gonna throw Tua at number 6 because I think Tua. Here's the thing with Tua. I think Tua, barring the injuries, I mean, he's shown that he can make the best of the program that they set up over in Miami. You know what I'm saying? With those wideouts, man. He before that injury, bro, like he was on his way. You know, he was on his way. He was on his way of finishing with at least top 5. So I put him outside of the top 5 because of the injuries.
Okay.
Number 7. Who's number 7? Number
You didn't
7.
even mention your boy Aaron Rodgers.
I think Aaron Rodgers has proved like what he can prove over in the years with us. Or over in the years when he was with us over in the Packers. I think his job now is to kind of just be like the game manager, 4th quarter. All right, take it home kind of guy. You know what I'm saying? I don't think he's like, to me, if he's coming there to throw 20, 30 something passes, it's not gonna work. I don't think it's gonna work. You got to have a grit and grind game. The defense got to be gritty. Obviously, I think their defense is amazing with saucing them in the backfield and everything. So I think this team is prepared for something. But I've seen this episode of Friends before. I've seen it when Brett Favre went to the damn Jets and they started off good, and then they basically shit the bed second half of the season.
They were like 8-3 at one point.
Yes, I've seen this episode of Friends before. Trust me, bro. Anything that can happen can go wrong will go wrong.
Right.
So at I'll put him at 7. I'll put A-Rod at 7. At 8. At 8. No. At 8, I'm gonna put A-Rod, and then at 7, I'm gonna put Trevor Lawrence.
Okay, who you got 9th and 10th?
9th and 10th. Okay, this is where it gets tricky. So, did I say Lamar?
No,
I didn't say Lamar. Damn.
You didn't say Lamar.
Okay, so Lamar, 2 quarterbacks that coming into the season, they have something to prove. I said Josh Allen already, so I guess I'm gonna add 2 more. I'm gonna go with the AFC North. Obviously Lamar, and the second one is Deshaun Watson. I think one of the 2 of them is going to have one of those seasons where they're gonna be like, yo, everybody remember this is who I am for real. When I'm ready to play, when I'm ready to do my thing, and when everything is going right, this is who I am. And I think Deshaun Watson, we can't forget his talent. You know what I'm saying? We can't. Obviously, we know what Lamar's talent is, but we cannot under no circumstances underestimate Deshaun Watson talent. Even though he played for the Browns, we can't underestimate that, man. Like so my thing is like, I think those two are gonna. If I had to round out the top 10, I round it out with them two. Special consideration for damn. What's his name?
Damn sure not Dak Prescott.
No. Hell no. No. Absolute. That's why I draw the line. No.
Thank you.
Absolutely not.
Thank you.
No. Not him. I think we've seen. Listen, I think Dak has had as much as you can have, and I don't know what. Yeah, him and Kyler Murray, like him and Kyler Murray, bro. Like I don't know who disgusts me the most at the quarterback position. I think Kyler Murray, like to me,
I think Russ disgusts me the most.
I mean, yeah. Well, Russ is older, so I mean, Russ obviously disgusts me, but in terms of players that we were expecting like to take the next step and like really like, yo, Dak has had some teams.
He has and last year
units.
last year the reason why they lost was because of him. Their defense did everything they could. And you brought up Kyler. The only problem I have with Kyler Murray, other than injuries, has been his personality. He's too busy not focusing and prioritizing football enough. I just think there are other things he's worried on. And besides, the Cardinals, they put that clause in his contract before they removed it, in which he had to study for like 4 hours. But fellas,
I remember that.
Yeah, I remember that. But fellas, I got a guest, another guest on the show is Coach Dante. Go check him out on his YouTube. Also, tell them folks where to follow you, my man.
Well, I say, man, y'all can find me on YouTube at Coach Dante. I do play-by-plays. Just for y'all know, I'm a diehard Rockets, Astros, Texans fan.
H-Town, stand up.
Every day in Houston, man. Okay.
All H-Town. I do got
the Rockets had a hell of a draft, by the way.
Yeah, I definitely appreciate it, man. It was a hell of a day. The other night, you just never seen. Have y'all ever seen a crowd that was so excited about a 20th overall pick like the Houston Rockets was?
Oh my God, man!
That was crazy, man. That was
to me, I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, did they really let him land this far? And to speak on that a little bit, I think Jet Howard was like he was basically like the role that he was basically the dice that basically accidentally fell out the hands in the draft, because I thought he had went a little bit too high.
I did too. I thought he
was
was 18th or something like that.
I thought he went a little bit too high. Although I think he's the best overall shooter in the draft, I thought he went a little bit too high for me. And that's what kind of led to Cam falling into Houston. But I think Ime got himself. He got
a nice squad. He got a nice squad with Jalen Green, Jabari Smith Jr. You got Cam Whitmore. You got one of the Thompson twins. So Houston,
my next thing is like what is the future for Kevin Porter Jr., because I don't think they necessarily want him over there in terms of because you already know his temperament could go left at any time. You know what I'm saying? So I think with Jalen Green having most of the guard touches, I think they're gonna run a lot of their offense through Sengun. I'm looking for Sengun to have a breakout season. I'm looking for Sengun to have a breakout season, because I kind of look at them. I kind of see the baby Nuggets.
Yep.
Like in a sense where like, yo, your center is like your best playmaker, your best offensive initiator, and you could kind of have that as a starting piece, starting zone with him, Jalen Green, and now you looking for your third guy. I don't know if it's Amin Thompson. I'm not sure if it's him. I'm not sure if it's Jabari Smith. I would like it to be KJ Martin, because KJ Martin I think he's going to be the lockdown guy. He's going to be the guy that's going to be looked upon to play a lot of the wing defense and guard the tough defensive matchups. If they go along a certain way, maybe if they bring a couple of vets in there, hold some of the young guys accountable. Make sure they don't do the same shit James Harden did, and going to KODs and messing up no money and all that, man. And then I think they'll be all right, man. I like Houston is not looking too bad, man. Between them and OKC, obviously OKC got SGA, but yeah, man, I think Houston.
And I can't wait to see with before we move on back to football. I can't wait to see, man, the matchup between Wembayama and Shed for Rookie of the Year. Even though there's Scoot Henderson and there's some other candidates as well, but I can't wait to see Shed too, man. Yeah. But Dante, we were talking about some NFL. I know you were watching the pod earlier.
Oh, hold up, I'll be back.
Yeah. You obviously you heard what I had to say about Antonio Brown and some other NFL things. What are your thoughts on AB and more?
Like I say, I agree with you. I thought the man just needs some help. They tried to do the same stuff to T.O. to keep him out the Hall of Fame because it's his off the field issues. But like I say, it just have nothing to do with what happened between those lines. I mean, I think Antonio Brown, I don't think nothing should keep him out of the Hall of Fame. I think he was a great wide receiver. He made so many receivers look so much good. Juju Smith-Schuster, before that year last year, about Patrick Mahomes, that was all Patrick Mahomes making him look good. You look his first rookie year, Antonio Brown was on the other side of the football, was able to free him up for some open catches. So Antonio Brown at his best, he was no doubt unstoppable, and he deserves all the praise, man. I think that dude really got some mental issues. He needs to clear himself out. He needs to get himself some therapy, some help, or whatever he need. But the dude, no doubt, was a talented player on the football field. And he definitely deserved to be in the Hall of Fame. I mean, you talking about being up there with the names of Terrell Owens, Randy Moss, Jerry Rice, one of the top receivers and one of the greatest receiver I ever seen play this game of football. You up there with some elite company, man. So I just think the dude needs some help. Man. It's sad the way his career ended. Like you said, again, Tom Brady, welcomed him with open arms, brought him into his house, made sure he got a Super Bowl ring, and he delivered for him. And for him to go out the way he did was kind of tragic.
It is, man, and it's unfortunate because, like I said, he was on pace to having he was on his way to having a Hall of Fame career. I mean, I said it before: two things could be true. You could be a horrible human being, but at the same time, it should not take away what you've accomplished as a football player. And the media, they're gonna vote.
Yeah.
And they're definitely going to factor on and off the field issues. And I brought up the example of Ben Roethlisberger. Ben, we all know his off the field issues. We already know. We don't need to get in there. Still, I still believe he should be in the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
I'll give you another example, and I wish Leaf was here. Brett Favre, he stole money in Mississippi, the poorest state in the United States of America. He stole welfare funds. There's texts to prove all that stuff. And we all know the situation with the female when he was with the Jets, Jen Sturger. He sent him pictures of the what. But still, he should be in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. O.J. Simpson, I believe he got away with double murder. He should still be in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. And I brought up music. I brought up R. Kelly. We all know his past. We don't need to get into that. But still, as a singer, as a songwriter, I take nothing away as far as what he's accomplished as a musician. So I feel like with the media, they have to compartmentalize. I understand they're human. I understand they vote. But at the same time, I put all of that aside, and I'm judging people based on what they've accomplished. And if you're just looking at it from how I'm looking at it as far as meritocracy and production, AB should be there. And the problem I have with the media, and I brought up Randy Moss. Randy should have been in the Hall of Fame regardless.
Yeah,
regardless of his relationship with the media. But I definitely think that the media played a huge factor because they changed the perception of him. And people forgot all the things that Randy did.
Yeah.
Such as mooning the fans in the end zone in that playoff game against Green Bay,
Yep.
him admitting I played when I want to. His antics were just as equal as T.O.'s, but they ignored all that with Randy, but they factored it with T.O.
I mean, T.O. did a lot of stuff, man. Honestly, I mean, he repeatedly got into it with the coaching staff. I mean, he was a part of a feud. We know probably one of the best feuds in football with him and Donovan McNabb.
Right.
When the teammates claimed that he was selfish for playing on a broken foot. They thought he was selfish. The way he called out, he took a shot at Jeff Garcia through the media.
Yeah,
he also took a shot at Steve Mariucci as well. He took a shot at a lot of people, but when it came to the football field, when it came on the football field, he was always ready to play football. He always performed. And him and Donovan McNabb feud, I could blame actually both of them. Donovan McNabb was the one brought T.O. over there to Philly in the Pro Bowl when they played in that Pro Bowl game. Mm-hmm. And all T.O. did was told him he was wide open, and we all know what happened. He told him shut the fuck up and get in the huddle. And right. T.O. addressed it in the locker room personally. And Donovan McNabb relationship wasn't even the same. Right. And he was quoted to have to apologize in front of the team, and then he ended up getting DFA from the team. But I blame that relationship on both of them. They both had fault in it, but it shouldn't take away for what he did on the football field. Man was a hell of a player when it came on the football field. But other than that, he got a lot of flack from how he treated people off the field and how he blamed teammates and blamed quarterback play consistently. It was time that he wanted Tim Boutte over Jeff Garcia, and he even openly admitted that. He even openly admitted it too. Openly admitted it. And Skip Bayless on Undisputed, he even put it out there through the media and stuff like that. So the media have a lot, with those ESPN guys, reporters and stuff saying Undisputed, that matters. That gets to some of those voters and stuff like that, and it plays right into it. And they almost got T.O. from out of the Hall of Fame to the point where he didn't even want to go to the Hall of Fame. He didn't even go to the ceremony. He celebrated literally in Chattanooga.
Yeah, UT Chattanooga. That's where he went to play college football at. He was there last year, I think, for Bryant Young, one of his former teammates there. And Bryant Young has said nothing but positive things about T.O. The other issue that you mentioned with Donovan, the contract situation.
Yeah.
T.O. wanted a new contract. It would have been great if Donovan would have helped him out because Donovan was the franchise quarterback. He was the leader, CEO of the team, but he didn't speak for T.O., but he did for Brian Westbrook, and T.O. looked at that as betrayal. And that's no knock on Brian Westbrook because he was a very good player at the time with the Eagles. But T.O. looked at that as betrayal because, wait a minute, you speak for him, but you can't speak for me. And I also think that also played another role as well, other than Donovan telling him to shut the fuck up.
Yo, it did play a role. It did play a role as well. Just like I said, this man played on a broken leg. He played on a broken leg.
Had no business playing in that game.
Playing football. He had no business playing football. And even I said another one of those things. He even came out himself. They signed a waiver for him to even play the game.
Right.
He signed a waiver for him to even play in the game, but yet he was called selfish from playing that game and literally played a hell of a game. Over 120 yards with a broken leg, with one leg, and almost helping his team win the game until Donovan McNabb happened. Donovan McNabb probably was the reason why the game was blown, why the Eagles did not win that football game. But no doubt about that, T.O. had a hell of a game that game, but he was called selfish from even playing in the game. In Dallas, he ends up going to Dallas. He had some issues. With Wade Phillips. I don't think Wade Phillips did not want him there in the first place. He did not. I don't think he wanted him there. He didn't want him there.
Oh, it was Bill Parcells.
Bill Parcells did not want him there. Want him as a Cowboy, and he started calling out. He started the same thing. Basically, he's been calling out his career. Like T.O., once he sees something, he's gonna call it out. And Tom Brady did it. Him and Tom Brady did it before. He does it all the time. And he doesn't get much flack but T.O. do it. It was a problem. It was concerned. It was a problem when he did it.
Yeah, and another problem, another thing that you brought up, the double standard, because when Tom Brady, when he shows emotion, when you see him get it with teammates, people look at it as passion and leadership, and that's just because of what he's accomplished. But with T.O., and T.O. was great at his position, suddenly he gets viewed as a cancer, as a diva, as a malcontent. I mean, look, T.O., I'm not saying he was perfect. There were some things I felt like he could have handled differently.
Yeah.
I've talked to T.O. a lot. I mean, I've texted a little bit with him on Instagram. He's actually a cool dude to talk to, good to talk about sports and stuff. He tells me all the time his favorite head coach is Andy Reid. And Andy Reid, to get a guy like Andy Reid to say nothing but great things, and we all know how revered Andy Reid is around the NFL, he still loves Andy and vice versa. So I feel like with T.O., I mean, look, was he perfect? No. Could he handle some things differently? Sure.
Yeah.
But still, that shouldn't take away from what he accomplished as a football player. Can you, I mean, either you're in or you're not in. And I don't agree with this notion where you also have to wait, because wait a minute, Chris Carter, 6 times he waited. I mean, Chris Carter, he had to wait 6 times. Ain't no wait. Shannon Sharp had to wait 3 times. Either you're in or you're not in.
Yeah.
And I feel like the media, they make it more difficult than what it is, because the talent, the production is there. And if you're not going to vote me in, when am I ever going to get voted?
Yep. I mean, I definitely 1000% agree with you on that. People like that shouldn't have to wait, man. Shouldn't have to wait to get in. I think it's a travesty for them to have to wait to get in. I mean, 6 times is just unacceptable. How great Chris Carter was. You know, he taught Randy Moss a lot of things. He was even good at his later stages of his career. He
had great hands.
Yeah, great hands. He is almost like he never dropped a pass. He had good balance when he catches the ball on the sideline. Very good balance. So show hate that he definitely didn't win a championship, but he was still really good at the late stages of his career.
He was, man. I want to talk about a little bit of some NFL news. Houston, I'm assuming you're a Texans fan.
Yeah, I'm a diehard Texans fan. Yes, sir.
How do you feel about CJ Stroud? They drafted him with the number 2 pick, and then of course I thought the trade you get Will Anderson Jr. That is huge, because I feel like you got a really good quarterback, and from what I've read and heard about CJ, he's been very, very impressive. So how do you feel about your Texans, man?
I feel
good. And with the new head coach, DeMeco Ryans, as well.
I feel good, man. I feel good about our season this year. So I think we're going to be a 7-10 team. Like I say, again, I think we're good enough to win 7 games. Just because of the division is so bad. The division is so bad. Jacksonville is not hard to beat, not a hard team to beat. We got most of our wins last year in the division. We were 3-2 in the division. Arguably could have been 4-2 if we didn't blow the game against the Indianapolis Colts on week 1. But other than that, I feel it was much needed. We needed a quarterback. Davis Mills clearly showed you he's just a backup quarterback. He's just a backup quarterback. He's not a starting quarterback. He can be a serviceable backup. And anytime you have to it got so bad last year when Kyle Allen literally had to come in the game. It was a quarterback competition in the middle of the season. We had to play Jeff Driscoll. We had to have a 2-quarterback system. That's how literally bad it got last year. And it was much needed. We had to draft a quarterback. CJ Stroud, he's gonna. I understand, he had all world wide receivers in Ohio State, but with him, the way he did Georgia, how well he played against Georgia, and you're never comfortable in the pocket when you play against Georgia. His movement up out of the pocket, his accuracy. If the kicker Noah Ruggles didn't miss the field goal, you could argue, Ohio State would have won the game. And plus, Marvin Harrison was put out later in that game with a concussion. So for him to ever have a game like that against,
and he was also going throughout the season without Jackson Smith-Njigba.
Yep, and for him to have a game like that and be poised, that was impressive. I think that was one of the games, that kind of put him up there after struggling against Michigan. But other than that, he's been impressive, man. When you talk, this is Case Keenum used to be a starting quarterback. He's playing like a veteran. He played like a veteran. You won't even know he's a vet. You won't even know he's a rookie in the NFL. He's already got chemistry with Nico Collins. The teammates got respect for him instantly. And when you gain that locker room respect, things can go a long way. DeMeco Ryans praised about him. Our quarterback coach, Gerard Johnson, praised about him. He even asked questions about to the defensive coordinator, Chris Burke, or what coverages were you in, so he can know the different coverages when he sees them out there. He's looking really, really good in training camp. Also, in OTAs, Tank Dell, hell of a guy, hell of a good. He looked really, really good. He can run routes, gets open. So I'm gonna say, man, CJ Stroud, he's on the verge of success. He hasn't named a starting quarterback yet. It's a quarterback competition going into training camp. And I kind of like what DeMeco Ryans doing. You don't want to give a quarterback a spot. You want to make him earn it. So I think, at the end of the day, CJ Stroud is going to win the job. And I'm just happy. And Will Anderson looks hella good as well. So the energy looks good out there. Everything looks a flow out there. Devin Singletary, Damian Pierce looking good. Defense, Jimmy Ward is a big help to this secondary. Derek Stingley looks hella good after being used the wrong way by Lovie Smith. We played a lot of cover 2 zone. DeMeco Ryans is going to use them to his strength, which was a man-to-man strength, what Derek Stingley liked to play. We look hella good out there, man.
Yeah, I really think that this team, they're on the way up. And given the fact that it's the AFC South, you know, that's not really a great division. And you compete. And when I look at CJ, man, I think he's gotten a bad rap. Some people have talked about his character and stuff, but seems like a good kid. People knock on him because Ohio State, they look at the plethora of wide receivers, but I'm like, look how the way he throws the football. Look how the way he moves. He's not the most athletic quarterback in the world, but he's mobile enough to escape the pocket and make the types of throws. I mean, he has a strong enough arm. And I think CJ is going to put in time and get better. He doesn't have to necessarily start right away. There's nothing wrong with a quarterback to sit and learn as much as he can. And then when his number is called, then he could come in. I love DeMeco Ryans because defense, that's his forte, given the fact that he was the former defensive coordinator for the San Francisco 49ers. And you talk about that cover 2 and plus his familiarity because he used to play for the Houston Texans. So I definitely think that plays a huge role as well. I want to talk about a quarterback. Speaking of the AFC South, Trevor Lawrence. I don't know if you watched the episode Commanders Demand. My boy Bryson Carver, he says that Trevor Lawrence is top 3. I don't have Trevor Lawrence that high. I think he's top 10. I have him somewhere around 8. I have Mahomes 1. I think Mahomes is in a class by himself. 1, Burrow 2, Josh Allen 3. I have Jalen Hurts 4. I have Justin Herbert 5. I have Lamar 6. Aaron Rodgers 6. I'm sorry. Lamar 7th. I have Trevor 8th. I actually have Geno Smith top 10 at 9 and 10. It's tough because some people will say, well, what about Russell Wilson? But Russell Wilson did have a down year. People were like, well, he'll bounce back because of the offensive line. He played well late in the season, and there's nowhere to go but up. People bring up Dak Prescott, but Dak Prescott has been inconsistent. He's proven he's a good enough quarterback, but not a quarterback that can get that far. Kirk Cousins, I actually said Tua top 10. And I think with Tua, the only concern I have with him is durability. So what do you think about your quarterback list? Who do you have as your quarterbacks right now? If you have
to be honest, I do got Dak Prescott at 10 because he's more proven. I think he's just more proven than Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence, I think that, one thing about it, I think Travis Etienne was a big part of that offense as well. Was able to, I think he was so good last year. It did take a lot of pressure off Trevor Lawrence and made it into more easier throws. I just think Dak Prescott is more proven, but you got a point there. He's the reason why they lost the NFC Championship game. He definitely was the reason. He had more weapons, so you got a point. And this is only Trevor Lawrence one big year. If he has another season like how he had, then I'll consider putting up that. I don't want to reward him after a 24-8 season, just a 1 year after coming off, a year that he had with, Urban Meyer. A lot of people say that's due to coaching, but again, you're the quarterback, and he still was making the same decisions over and over. But that proves, Doug
Coaching
Peterson,
does play a
yeah,
factor.
it does play a factor. It does play a factor, and you see what Doug Peterson did with him this year. So it does play a factor. But I also have to give a lot of credit to the way Travis Etienne did run the football this year. He did run the football pretty well. That took a lot of pressure off of him to keep him out of some turnover situations. But we already know Patrick Mahomes in another class on his own. He's elite on his own. I have Joe Burrow. I have Josh Allen. I think a lot of pressure is on Josh Allen this year. I think a lot of pressure on him this year. Stephon Diggs already had a temper tantrum. I just think he's more frustrated about losing. He's not expecting them to lose just as much as they're losing. I don't think the problems with the stats or anything. He's getting his numbers. I think he's just much more frustrated of losing the way they are. I got Justin Herbert at number 4. He has a lot of pressure on him as well to get the job done. I got Jalen Hurts at 5. Got Aaron Rodgers at 7. At 6, I got Lamar at 7. I got Kirk Cousins at 8. The only reason I got him at 8 because he's a very good quarterback in the regular season. He's statistically a very good quarterback. He has top 10 numbers. The problem is he can't win a primetime game. That's the only legit problem. And he has the guys. So I only have Kirk Cousins in the 8 because he just doesn't win primetime games. I think that's the only problem with Kirk Cousins. He's a very good quarterback. And I have Derek Carr at 9 because I don't think Derek Carr is that bad of a quarterback, man. I just really don't think Derek Carr is bad at quarterback. I just think the Raiders were bad last year. The Raiders were bad. They didn't never have a top 10 defense. They never had a top 10 defense that he played. Now he gets a chance to go prove it against the Saints. With the Saints, he has a better defense. He has an elite defense at that. He has better wide receiving core outside of Devontae Adams that he had in Las Vegas. You know, Darren Waller wasn't healthy last year. The only reason they were winning games was because of Josh Jacobs. That was the only reason they were actually winning last year. And, you know, you already know I had Dak Prescott. I have Deshaun Watson, and Trevor Lawrence comes in. Trevor Lawrence can get this one more year in and prove it. I'm going to put him in. I guarantee he could be. I'll put him in the top 5. I'll throw him in the top 5.
Oh, okay, man. So you just to be clear, your top 10 list, Mahomes, we agree. We agree with Burrow, number 2. We agree Allen, 3. You have Herbert 4. I have Jalen Hurts 4.
Yeah.
You have Jalen Hurts 5. I have Herbert 5. We agree with Aaron Rodgers 6. We agree with Lamar 7th. 8th, you got Kirk Cousins.
Yep.
9th, who you got again?
Derek Carr.
And 10th?
I got Prescott.
But you don't think Trevor Lawrence top 10?
Not yet. I just can't be sold after this year. Only this year, I just can't be sold after one season. I have to see it. I have to see it for a second straight year.
Ooh, that okay. If he has, a lot of people think Trevor Lawrence is on his way to becoming this great quarterback because, again, coming out of college, the comparisons, Andrew Luck, he's the most ready quarterback since Andrew Luck, the presumptive, the number 1 overall pick. I think I do agree with a lot of people. They do kind of overhype him primarily because of that playoff game in which he came back from. But still, that is still very impressive for a young quarterback to do in his first playoff game. I get it. In the first half, he was horrible. He threw like 4 interceptions. But for him to come back in that game against a quarterback who many of us consider a top 5 quarterback in Justin Herbert. Now, you could say, well, that's also coaching because of the Chargers with Brandon Staley and the defense. But I feel like if you, Justin Herbert, given the fact that we praise you and we say you a top 5 quarterback, we feel like you're too good not to let that situation come into play. But I'm kind of shocked. You got Kirk Cousins at 8th. I mean, and I like Kirk. You know, he used to play for my Commanders, but you got him 8th. And Derek Carr, I agree with you with Derek Carr. Even though 63 and 79, he may not be the greatest quarterback in the world. I think the Raiders have used him as a scapegoat and think of everything he had to go through at the time with John Gruden, Antonio Brown, the defense, Henry Ruggs III, Damon Arnett. It's like controversy with the Raiders and Josh McDaniels. And I told people he should never be a head coach.
He shouldn't have been a head coach. Yeah.
Right. The only great things he had was Josh Jacobs running the football. I think he led the league in rushing that time last year, and Devontae Adams still the best wide receiver in the game. And of course, they were teammates coming out of Fresno State. But Derek Carr at ninth, I mean, damn man, that's shocking.
Yeah. Hey man, like I say, I look at things differently. I look at things differently, man. I look at the situation that he's in. By him never playing with a top 5 defense. He never played with over a top 10 defense prior coming into this season with the New Orleans Saints. And plus, it's a better situation than he was in last year. He even it was to the point where Devontae Adams even got frustrated. Devontae Adams come over to play with him, but they just immediately, gave Derek Carr the scapegoat. The only reason they were winning games was because of Josh Jacobs. The defense wasn't good. I mean, again, the offensive line wasn't pretty good at times. Derek Carr had to throw the ball earlier than expected because the offensive line couldn't hold up. But also Hunter Renfrow could not stay on the field. Darren Waller, I think he quit. He probably quit up on the Raiders. He quit up on the Raiders pretty much. I didn't think he wanted to be with the Raiders anymore. So they gave up on him. But Derek Carr, I think he's going to have a bounce back year with the New Orleans Saints due to the fact he's going to have opportunities because he has a great defense. He has a great defense, and he's got a good running back in Jamal Williams who can put the ball in the end zone as well.
Yeah.
Chris Olave, he has Michael Thomas, so he has way better weapons outside of Devontae Adams with New Orleans. So I think this is going to be a rejuvenated year this year for Derek Carr.
I like Derek Carr. My concern with Michael Thomas has been the injury issues.
Yeah.
And then, of course, with Alvin Kamara. I do like the fact that he's in New Orleans. I think he'll be happy there. The defense, they have a really good defense, and especially led with Dennis Allen, the head coach. And they have a rapport, Derek Carr and Dennis Allen, going back to their days with the Raiders. I think that the Saints should win the division because even though it's not much to brag about because it's a terrible division, and I think he's on paper, he's the best quarterback right now. We have to wait and see with Bryce Young, even though I believe in Bryce Young. But Baker Mayfield, and I'm an OU dude, but Baker Mayfield, 4 teams in 6 years, my man. 4 teams in 6 years. And then you look at Atlanta with Desmond Ridder. I mean, Atlanta could be an exciting team to watch because of the offense. I didn't agree with them drafting Bijan Robinson. I didn't either. I thought they should have drafted Jalen Carter, despite the situation that he was in. But I felt like they should have taken him because I feel like, okay, he stays at home. Okay, he's the best player available. And it also goes to show you with the running backs, man. You don't have to draft a running back that high or pay them a certain amount of money. You can just replace them just like that. What's your thoughts on that as well?
Yeah, I'm agreeing with you. I think the Saints are going to win the division. I got them 10-7 actually.
Oh, they're going to win the division.
I think they're going to win the division I think 10-7 will be the division winner. I think it's only one team going to come out that division in the playoffs. I don't think it's 2 teams. I think that the team that wins that division makes the playoffs. You come in second place, I don't believe you get a wild card spot because I believe the Cowboys will get a wild card spot in Seattle. I believe those will be the 3 teams. I believe those will be in the Lions. I believe those the 3 teams will get a wild card spot. Those are my wild card teams right there. But other than that, I think the Panthers will come in second place. Really like Bryce Young. I like the pickup of Jonathan Mingo as a wide receiver from Ole Miss. I like the pickup from him. Marshall is going to be really good. They still got Chenault over there. They also got a Miles Sanders and Chula Hubbard, that's a pretty decent running game. Defense is pretty solid. I got the Falcons at 3. But I think Bijan Robinson was the best running back in the draft. But I also thought that wasn't the spot that he needed to go. I don't think he needed to go there. And you already had a 1,000-yard running back. Tyler Algier was a 1,000-yard running back last year. So the running game was really good with Cordell Patterson and Tyler Algieri. I didn't think they need to get Bijan Robinson. I thought they could have went off of a defensive lineman, like you said, a Jalen Carter, because I thought they had trouble getting to the quarterback last year.
Yeah.
They did end up getting David Onyemata, which was a big pickup for them, but I also think they needed some help on the defensive line and getting pressure on the quarterbacks. I didn't think Bijan Robinson he was the best running back in the class, but I didn't think he needed to be in Atlanta. I didn't think the spot was Atlanta when you already had a 1,000-yard running back in Tyler Algieri.
Let's talk about a little bit. We're going to talk about these last couple of subjects, and I know we're going to have to end because, again, Monday we got to get back to grinding and work.
Gotcha.
My Commanders, man. I've been on the record. I know you probably check out the Commanders, man. I've said it before, man. They should just tank the rest of the season and try to get their hands on Caleb Williams from USC, man. Because I feel like with the new ownership, I don't care, man. Just tank the rest of the season because I'm just fed up with Dan Snyder as the owner. And one of the problems with the Commanders this season, Chase Young. Now, the Washington, we didn't pick up his 5th-year option, and that was because of the injuries and durability. What do you think Washington should do? Do you think we should trade him, or do you think we should hold on to him until something happens?
Until something happens, I think you should hold on to him. But I would also be appeased for you guys to trade him as well. I understand he tore his ACL up. That kind of hampered him pretty much. But your defensive line was still pretty good. So you can make a case to trade him. You're good even without Chase Young. You're good without even Chase Young. Plus, of course, my Texans had to see that, pretty much last year, and it wasn't good. It wasn't pretty. It was a pretty much mess. The way Deron Payne them did our offensive line. But other than that,
Montez Sweat.
Yeah, Montez Sweat. Y'all didn't have to slam Dameon Pierce like that. But other than that, that's another subject for another day. But other than that, I think the defensive line is still pretty good. The secondary shows something. Emmanuel Forbes, I think he's going to be a little something once he once he gets back into the fold and gets his feet wet. I really like the defense, man. My only question is the quarterback situation. Can Sam Howell with a full season? I believe he played one game last year. That was against the Dallas Cowboys, I believe.
Yes, he's on Dallas.
Yeah, I want to see what he does for a full year. He got a solid running game. He got a solid running game over there in Brian Robinson Jr. Terry McLaurin, that dude don't get a lot of respect for how much quarterback play he really had and still able to get over 1,200 yards. I like that Jahan Dotson. I like him. He's pretty explosive. He got to stay healthy. If he stays healthy, him and Terry McLaurin is an underrated duo right there, along with Curtis Samuel over there. But other than that, I think Commanders have all the making of a competitive football team. The only thing is Sam Howell. Can he have consistency this year? I think the defensive line still can get pressure on the quarterback, but can Sam Howell be consistent with the quarterback play? I think that's what it's going to come down to it. And can the secondary hold up? Will the secondary be able to hold up in third down situations?
Yeah, because secondary wise, we were like 27th in the NFL, so we were terrible last season. But with Sam Howell, I mean, like I told you before, man, I want my hands on Caleb Williams. But if Sam Howell becomes the second coming of Drew Brees, hey, I'll keep that, because if we watch it, we haven't had a great quarterback in a while, man. I mean, I thought we had something with RG3, and then of course injuries played a factor. And look, man, I'm just desperate because, I've been a fan of this team ever since, not just with RG3, but also the late, great Sean Taylor, God rest his soul. Yeah, but I just feel like with Washington, at least we still have hope, though, because we have Eric Bieniemy as our offensive coordinator. And whatever happens with Ron Rivera, Eric Bieniemy can just step in and fulfill and finally be the head coach. And I get tired of the fact that people say, well, he never called plays. He was with Andy Reid. Neither did Matt Nagy or Doug Peterson. They weren't accused of that stuff. But Eric Bieniemy gets held to a different standard. Yes, because he's black, in my opinion. Some people may agree or disagree with that, but I think it's because of the race. And I also think other things as well, but mostly the race.
Yeah.
What says you?
Like I said, I love Eric Bieniemy. I think he did one hell of a job over there in in Kansas City. Like I say, he competed from numerous of jobs, interview. You heard a lot of rumors about him. He's not the best guy off the field. He's not the best guy in the locker room. But other than that, happy. You'll be happy about the offensive coordinator position. He's going to put these players in the right positions to succeed. The only question, what is he about without Andy Reid? But a lot of people, Doug Peterson was with Andy Reid, I believe. He was with Andy Reid, I believe, and he was able to win a Super Bowl. Mm-hmm. Matt Nagy had success. Matt Nagy also had success in Chicago with Mitchell Trubisky. So you have the Andy Reid tree. John Harbaugh. Andy Reid tree looks really, really good. They showed us some success. So other than that, man, all hopes up to Eric Bieniemy. Like I say, the quarterback situation, Sam Howell, if he can be consistent this year, and throwing the ball, getting the ball to Terry McLaurin, Jahan Dotson, and I would expect the Washington Commanders to run Brian Robinson Jr. Brian Robinson Jr. He was a big help last year. He was a bowling ball last year.
Yeah.
He was massive last year.
I still get hyped up to this day when he walked into the field with 50 Cent, many men after the situation, man.
Yeah.
And also too, Gibson. We can't forget about Antonio Gibson. And with EB there as the offensive coordinator, and given the fact that he was a former running backs coach, I think he's definitely going to bring life to this team. Question is, though, I'm wondering, should they bring in Kareem Hunt, given the fact that he's familiar with him and vice versa? But that's a story for another day. But Coach Dante, man, thank you for hopping on to the pod, man. Tell the audience where they can follow you, dog.
Man, y'all can follow me at Coach Dante, man, on my YouTube channel. Coach Dante on Twitter, Coach Dante on IG, man. Y'all come holler at me. I do play-by-plays for every sport, no matter what it is. And shout out to you, man. I'll be seeing you everywhere, man. On you already know, on that Players Choice podcast, getting it in. And like I say, man, shout out to you for letting me in, man. Definitely.
Anytime, man. And always, you're always more than welcome to hop on the pod, man. Always let me know. Take it easy, brother. You enjoy the rest of the evening, my man.
Thank you.
All right, man. All right, folks. That is it for Sports PSP Podcast. I want to thank a couple of guests for hopping on, Leaf and Coach Dante. Please go like and subscribe. Go follow them, whether Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, or any other social media platform they're on, folks. As I said before with Antonio Brown, man, I said two things could be true. Antonio Brown could be a horrible human being. He does have mental health issues. I think he has to accept accountability and responsibility for everything that has come to him. And appreciate the Big Storm for the comments. Salute, man. Well, I'll have you back on to the podcast at some point, and we're definitely going to discuss some NBA stuff. Also, shout outs to Gabe, Dev, the rest of the crew. Go check out the Players Choice podcast. Go check out Dubs World. Go check out other podcasts out there, man. It's not just me. They are grinding. They are great people. They know exactly their sports. They know exactly what they're talking about. Go follow them. Go check out Big Ox. Go check out Fluent and Chill. Go check out Mars. Go check out Dub. Go check out Ticket. Go check out Gabe. Go check out all of them, man. Also, shout out to the Grid Network. My boy Barry, my boy Bryson with his podcast, Carving It Up podcast. Go check out my boy Ryan with his podcast, Clutch Talk Sports, where he breaks down and analyzes film. Also, go check out At the Bank podcast with my boy Dev. He breaks down a lot of stuff regarding the Baltimore Ravens. Go check out Barry's podcast, All Even podcast, even though he annoys the hell out of me because he's a Dallas Cowboy fan. But I love him to death, man. He's like a big brother to me. And John the Epic Pick, man, I saw you on Chill with Chill on Saturday. Listen, man, even though we're about to end the podcast, but always feel free to hop on. I'll definitely put in the StreamYard link on the comment section below, folks. Like I said before with Antonio Brown, I think he definitely needs to get some help. But I also think that he needs to hold himself accountable as well as other people around him. I think he seriously needs some help. And I just think, man, the Pro Football Hall of Fame, it's over for him. There's no chance in hell he's getting to the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Again, like I said, I appreciate the guests for hopping on, Leaf and Coach Dante. It's your boy Sports PSP, folks. Hope everyone's enjoying a fantastic evening. Thank y'all for hopping in. Please go like and subscribe. Follow me on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, any social media platform I'm on. Thank you for hopping on. And we done, folks. Good night and God bless.